I think it's pretty self-explanatory what's happening here. We're gonna go through my New Year's resolutions. No more whiteboards. Yep, it's officially time to retire the whiteboard. This was a 2024 situation, and after I did my last one, where I was ranking all the perks in Black Ops 6 Zombies, and I got absolutely roasted for the way that I did it, I figured it's just time to call it quits. Rest in peace, whiteboard. Okay, I'm kidding, the whiteboard can stay, but also on the topic of that last whiteboard video, if you guys ever wanted to do like a reaction to my perk ranking or something like that, you're like fully welcome to. Maybe we can do like a compilation of those at some point or something. That could be quite fun. So my actual first resolution is, boom, IRL streams. This might be a little bit of a surprise to some of you because I don't do a lot of IRL content, right? Like basically the only thing I've ever done in that area was going to Citadel Day more in real life. And that was it. So why is this a focus for me? Well, obviously you guys have been amazingly supportive with donations and streams and with subbing and memberships and just generally hyping up my channel so much over the last few months to the point that I've been able to spend some of my YouTube money on this sucker. This is an IRL streaming backpack, and it means if I equip this here, I can basically attach the camera somehow like that, and then I can go out into the wild with this here. Isn't this sick? Doesn't this look so cool, dude? I kind of look like I'm, I don't know, like some kind of weird paparazzi kind of guerrilla reporter guy, but it should hopefully mean we can do some amazing content. So I'm so excited about this. It was very expensive, but I think it's gonna be worth it. So that's first on the list. And I wanna do these streams just because it's all well and good sitting inside all day making zombies videos. And I've done that for 15 years, right? And I love doing it. And I love doing it with my team as well. But there was a vibe that I got from that Citadel Day More IRL vlog where I just want to recreate that energy a bit more frequently, and I think that it's going to mean that I can collab with people in much more interesting ways, and we're going to get to some of the collab stuff a little later in the video. So what are some IRL stream ideas that we could do? Well, I was just doing a Twitch stream right before I recorded this video, and if you're not following me on Twitch, by the way, one of my resolutions is to stream a lot more on Twitch this year, so definitely go down to the description and drop me a follow so you don't miss those streams in the future. But my chat was helping me come up with some ideas here, and here are some of the ideas. We've got going to DE IRL, Mob of the Dead IRL, like stuff like that, which is in line with me doing Citadel Day More IRL, so that makes sense. But then there's also some more sort of spicy ideas, like going to a lighthouse in Alaska to try and do like a Call of the Dead IRL, exploring the coast of Australia, the Three Peaks Challenge here in the UK, fishing, going on a real life treasure hunt, finding Bigfoot, Nuketown paintball, just camping, running or cycling across the country. Like these are all ideas that my chat were coming up with, and they're all on the table. Like honestly, I just want to have a fun time this year, entertaining you guys as best I can, and there's going to be a lot of down periods where there's no zombie stuff that's new to do, and in those periods, I might as well get up to some crazy hijinks that are kind of in my no-nonsense style, I suppose. So there's a handful of ideas for things that may be coming in the near future with this. Number 2 is a charity stream. At some point, I think it would just be nice to get that done. I talked about it a little bit last year, didn't really have time in Q4. I ended up just too busy with too many obligations in too many different directions, and I wouldn't have been able to do it justice. But at some point this year, I'd really like to get that done, and I'd love to do it for my aunt's charity, which I mentioned in my previous video. She is working alongside a charity in Lebanon right now, and I think that'd be a really cool cause to raise money for. Number 3 is kind of a silly one, but it's just to spend a bit less time on Twitter. I find that Twitter's good and bad. It's got pros and cons. The pros are that it means that I'm really tapped in with you guys when there's news to cover. If you guys are tweeting me bug reports, for example, I can pull those from Twitter and be like, here's a comment from a person that I would have otherwise never heard from because it's right there in my Twitter mentions. And that's perfect and that's amazing. It helps me amplify you guys. But then it's got cons as well, which obviously are the obvious ones, right? It's me at any time pulling my phone out and someone just like being abusive to me in my pocket, like on a screen at any time of day. That could just randomly happen. That sucks. That's just not good for your mental health. Or it could just be that it's the Twitter platform itself that's just really gone downhill recently. There's all this fighting and just constantly a swirl of hatred and destruction and evil. and it's just tiring to be on Twitter, to be honest. So I think a little bit less time on Twitter would do me good mentally. Number 3 is gym goals. I've been so excited to go to the gym over the last few days, having not really been able to for pretty much the entirety of launch of Black Ops 6 because I've been so busy. So it's been so nice to go back, but I do have some specific goals for this year. First of all, I want to hit 3 sets of 5 reps of 100 kilogram squats, which is I think like 220 pounds, something like that. I think, if my conversion is correct. But I want to hit that with no injury and no pain, basically, because last year I sort of hit it, but I also then ended up with this injury and it was a pain in the ass. So I want to avoid injury. And I also want to hit 3 sets of 8 reps of 30 kilograms of dumbbell chest press. I don't really like bench pressing, it just hurts my wrists, but the dumbbells are fine, and so I want to hit 3 sets of 8 reps of 30 on those on a 30-degree bench. Chest is the body part that I find the hardest to grow, whereas squats come really naturally to me, so I think that I'll hit the squats goal easy peasy, but this one might be more tricky, I'm not sure. But I also have this little thing here, and that's that I really, really want to make some kind of gym content this year. I don't want it to be like a complete pivot or a complete flip over into a new area that I then never return from, but I just want to post a gym video, just one. And I've already got one from like 2020, maybe, like around then, fully edited, about me starting my gym journey, but it's just outdated now. And so I'll probably integrate that in some way, I'm not sure, but the thing that I struggle with this is I don't know how to make gym content that you guys would enjoy. I could probably make gym content that a gym audience would enjoy, but trying to find a way to make it relevant for you guys, that's a much harder thing to do because the majority of you are zombies fans, right? So like trying to cross over with both there is tricky. So I've got to find the right format. I've got to go about it in the right way. Also, like, I don't want to go to a public gym and be recording and stuff and being like that influencer that everybody in the gym hates because it's like, oh, okay, I'm vlogging now and that means that everyone else is in the background with against their will, and like, I don't want to do that, right? So I want to go about it in the right way, but I'm not sure what the right way is yet. So that's something I want to figure out this year. And now that I've got the IRL backpack as well, maybe at some point, if I can sort of find like a private room in a private gym or something, we could do some IRL gym streams as well. Like I know some creators that do that sort of thing. I feel like that would be really cool. But again, that will take like specific circumstances to figure out. But I'd love to do that. That would be so sick, man. Like being able to talk to chat in between sets, that'd be perfect. Number 4, I want to do my first subathon. Generally, the way this sort of thing would work is that basically it would be a live stream on probably YouTube and Twitch, or maybe just on Twitch, depending on what the logistics are, where a sub would extend the stream for X number of minutes, a dono would do a similar sort of thing, and then every 500 to 1K subs, you have checkpoints, right? So the checkpoint sort of reward or challenge or forfeit might be dye my hair or shave my head or like try and apply zombie makeup to myself, or chat picks what I have to eat, or chat tells me I have to overcome a specific fear of some kind, or like, I don't know, like the crazy pinnacle top one could be like, I have to take the IRL backpack and we have to go skydiving, or like those sorts of things, right? But there's different ways these can work because these are all like IRL challenge rewards, whereas there's also a world where I, for example, play zombies and it's a subathon where I'm just doing zombies Easter eggs, but the checkpoints are like, okay, next Easter egg you have to do with no perks. And maybe if I fail it, then I lose some time, obviously, because I've just burned a bunch of time, but maybe I can't progress until I've completed it with no perks, and like those sorts of things. And I don't know exactly when I want to do this, but it's a content type and a content format that as a content creator, I've not done before, and as someone that really likes experimenting and growing and learning, I want to play around with something that might end up leading to some really, really funny content with you guys. Like if I'm just absolutely swamped in forfeits mid-subathon, I'm sleep deprived, I'm trying to figure out how to do the final Reich Easter egg or something, like I feel like that could be fun in a zombies context, and it could also be really fun in a non-zombies context. Like what if I was exploring the coast of Australia and you guys were like controlling me like a sim, right? Like what if you were saying, okay, we've hit this threshold, that means chat gets to decide what I have to say to the next person I bump into in the street. And then I go up to someone in the street and I'm like, hey, I was really hoping you could sell me some bananas. Could you sell me some bananas by any chance? Basically, I'm trying to capture this monkey. It's in one of the vents around here, and I think I need bananas for it. If you don't have bananas, it's all good. Maybe I could use like, if you got like an essence trap or something, and we can just like goof around like that. We can just be dumb, but like dumb live. I feel like that could be fun. And on the topic of all that stuff, one of the things that we do definitely need to do this year is we need to run it back, and I need to beat Legion again. Obviously, we've seen me very successfully beating Legion on stream over the last couple of weeks. That's been going swimmingly well, and the context there is that basically people that pre-ordered a mini Milo, for which there's only like 3 days left in the sale, by the way, so don't hesitate if you plan to get one, but they got entered into a raffle, and I picked raffle winners, and then the raffle winners got to play zombies with me, and the Legion boss fight, Outbreak Easter Egg 1, was chosen, and so we've been doing the Legion boss, and it's just been a pain in the ass because of Australian ping, but it's been a lot of fun, admittedly, it's been really fun. So we need to do that again so we can get a successful completion, or, sorry, I mean another successful completion. Now, beyond zombies, there's also a variety of things that are going to happen this year. One is I will finally be streaming Outer Wilds. It's taken me like 5 years of being hounded by JC basically over and over again to actually make this happen, but it's worked. It's put it on my radar, and now is finally the time at long last. So this Outer Wilds stream will probably end up actually being 2 streams potentially, and that is going to be most likely this month or next month. I'm thinking this month in January, so you can actually expect that fairly soon. Another game I'm looking forward to this year is Borderlands 4. I believe it's coming out this year, and if it is, that's definitely something that I intend to play on the channel, make some guides for maybe, stuff like that. 2K, hit me up. Number 8, this one I'm less sure of, admittedly, because it's such a big undertaking, but I think it would make sense this year for me to play Elden Ring for the first time. I still haven't played it, and I think there's just so much in that game screaming for some no-nonsense breakdowns and exploration. So if I find myself with loads of free time this year at some point, like, I don't know, maybe I break my leg or something, then that might be something that we dive into. Number 9 is Destiny raids with Evan, and this one I'm not sure of the best time for, but basically Evan has been going through all these zombies Easter eggs and doing them for the first time blind, without hints from stream, and he's basically said, hey Milo, if we're going to do the zombies Easter eggs, we should do the same thing vice versa, where you try and solve the Destiny raids blind without knowing how they work, and you just sort of orchestrate the fire team and you solve these old Destiny raids, right? And that sounds sick. That sounds like so much fun. The problem is that Destiny's dead right now. Like, the Destiny community is at an all-time low, and so I don't think it makes sense to do that now. Like, I should probably do it when there's at least a little bit of excitement and a little bit of hype. I know that there is a raid dungeon releasing in February, so maybe we do it around then, or maybe we just wait for a raid to be released, and I think there might be a raid coming later this year, maybe. I was talking to Zone about this, I'm not sure. So we'll figure it out, but that's something that I think at some point would be really fun to do. I also this year want to finish my Last of Us essay. This is a 50-ish page video essay that I wrote 90% of when I first played the game last year, and I had a ton of fun with the games, both of them, Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2, but I haven't quite finished off the script for this essay. It needs like the last 3 pages being written or something, and I'm like 50 pages in right now, so it's really nearly there. But that final push, man, I mean, any of you guys that are artists or creatives, you know how it can be where you can really get the majority of a project done, but the last little sort of squeeze is really, really the toughest part. So this is something I just want to hold myself to this year. I want to finish that essay, and specifically my deadline for that and for releasing it is hopefully, if I can make it happen, alongside the release of the season 2 of the Last of Us HBO show, and I believe that is in spring 2025, so I don't have a huge amount of time to actually get this done, so that's good, having a little bit of a deadline there, but that's sort of the plan for when I want to try and get that one out. It'll be like a 2-hour, maybe 2.5-hour video essay documentary thing. There is also an unfinished custom zombies documentary that myself and Joey Conway worked on for maybe like 2 months last year. We've put so much work into it. We've interviewed dozens of people from the Call of Duty Zombies mapping community, past and present. We've got clips of those interviews. We've got a massive script figured out that is like nearly 100 pages long. Like there is so much work that has gone into that, and it still just needs polishing off. It needs that last little bit of juice, that last little injection of special sauce to really make it sing, and then it can go into the edit stage, and Joe can just cook on that, and then that will be ready to go. And I mean, it's really a love letter to the customs scene that has carried the zombies community kind of in the background so strongly over the years. And so that's something I really, really want to get out. I think that once we post it, it's going to be one of the most interesting and well put together pieces of work on my channel ever. Like it's going to be a really great video. It just needs a lot of work to get it done, and it's difficult because as a content creator, I'm constantly sort of battling between needing to just get like easy views, so to speak, so I can do things like pay my team. Like if I don't get views, I can't pay Joey Conway. Joey Conway can't spend 2 months on a zombies documentary, right? That's gonna get like 500K views and is not gonna pay back 2 months worth of salary for an employee, right? So like I need to focus on views while also doing the creative stuff like this, and I mean like so much of the stuff actually on this board. And that's a difficult balance to strike, but it's one that I'm constantly kind of trying to carve out and figure out. And this is a year where I've got a couple of things that I'm gonna really force myself to do. So that's definitely on the agenda. Another one that is really, really important to me this year is to collab more. And this is something that is a bit alien for me because basically over the years, I've gotten extremely good, like not to toot my own horn, but I've gotten extremely good at making content on my own. Like very, very good at it. I just looked at my stats, my YouTube analytics over the last 3 months, right? October, November, December. And in that period, on YouTube alone, not counting TikTok or Instagram or whatever, just on YouTube, we got 100 million views, which I'm so grateful for. Like the fact that you guys have shown up and supported me on so many videos over the last few months, like it's a dream. It's an absolute dream, and it's a dream that I've been dreaming for 10, 15 years now, and I'm basking in the fact that it's reality, and it's incredible, but it's all solo. Right? There is maybe 2 million views total, probably less than that, probably like 1 million views total from that 100 million views, which was collab stuff. And the rest of it is all solo. It's all just Milo talking. That's it. Like Milo explaining how to do something in zombies. Milo explaining some zombies news. Milo explaining his bad zombies perk opinions. Like it's all that. And that's great. And it's wonderful. And when I say I want to do new collabs, I'm not saying the zombies content's going to go anywhere. And I feel like there are going to be people that misinterpret certain things I say in this video. And they're going to leave a comment being like, oh, Milo's quitting zombies, right? Not the case at all, right? Let's not overstep here. I'm just saying I want to do more stuff as well. Right? I want to add, not like replace, okay? So if anyone is commenting that sort of stuff, please link them this timestamp. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving zombies by any means. That's not even the beginning of a question for me. I'm very, very much doing all my normal zombie stuff and this. That is the intention. That is the goal. That is the hope. That is the dream. So just to be absolutely clear, but in terms of new collabs, I've done it a little bit with people like Hunter recently, who came on the podcast. We had Stanley on the podcast. That was really cool. They're guys that obviously have followings within Call of Duty. And that's cool, being able to talk to people on my podcast about Call of Duty stuff. Fine, right? We're in the Call of Duty niche, and so that makes sense. But I really this year want to push myself out of my comfort zone a bit, because I am comfy with anyone in COD. Any person in the Call of Duty space, I'm super comfy just sort of sitting down and being like, hey, do you want to do a podcast? And if they say no, I'm like, bet, that's fine, no worries. But what I'm not comfy doing, and that I want to sort of push myself to grow as a person in order to learn how to do, is to hit up people that make like IRL content, or that make, I don't know, like random stuff. Like for example, actually, Black Panther is a friend of mine, and he makes all this racing content, right? And wouldn't it be sick, and I just pulled his name out of a hat here because he makes very different content to me, but wouldn't it be sick to find a way to do a collab with someone like that that's in such a different area of YouTube, but that could lead to something really entertaining? Like those sorts of things are what I want to make happen this year as much as I can. So it's not just the COD people, but it's people outside COD. And a lot of them also could be outside gaming. So who are some like random examples, right, on my imaginary wish list of like, I feel like at some point we could cook something really cool here. Well, here's a perfect example. Last year, Agent and Sinner did a Origins marathon where they had to try and get to round 50 on Origins, and it was a nightmare because they weren't good at the game, and so they had to learn how to play Origins, and Origins is a very hard map, and it was just a really, really fun stream marathon idea. They cooked. It was really great. And while they were doing it, they were using my guides to do the starves and to try and learn how to play it and stuff like that, and it was awesome, and it meant that I jumped into chat a couple times. I felt like a marriage counselor between the two of them while they were trying to sort of figure out their teamwork that they needed to actually get through those rounds. And I'm yelling in chat like, no, she's right. Oh, actually, Agent has a point here, and da. It was great. And I looked back on that after a week and I was like, hold on, why didn't I more meaningfully at least try to add to their content in some way with, like, I don't know, for example, I could have like sent in a motivational video for them to watch on stream or something. Like, that wouldn't have done anything for me. It wouldn't have been like, oh, I'm trying to like leech off their stream or whatever. I literally could have just participated in a value additive way, and I just didn't. I basically just jumped in chat and was like, woo, you guys got this, and like, this is so fun to see that you guys are doing it. But I didn't try, and I regret that. I regret just sort of sitting back and just being like, well, I don't try because I do my thing, right? I do my zombies, narrow, vertical, nothing else thing, but I don't do the other thing. And I'm just like, why am I like that? Why? So this coming year, if there was a world where like something like that happened again, I want to be the sort of person that is like, hold on, let me actually see what I can do to flip this a little bit in my head and turn it into something I can enhance, or I can add to, or I can collaborate with, or who knows, right? Like, I don't know exactly what it would be. I don't have the idea in my mind, but it's a philosophy, I guess, that I want to try and follow. And I mean, those guys are both really, really cool. I'm really sort of happy about all their success over the years. It's been really cool to see them come up. And so yeah, if there's an opportunity to collab with them, then like, say less. I'm booking the flight. I'm so in. Another obvious one that comes to mind is the Sidemen. I've known those guys for like 10 years, maybe more. And I still don't think a single one of them are in any video I've ever posted, apart from me and Vic playing Borderlands 2 at launch together in like a Let's Play series. Like, why is that the only collab I've done with those guys? It doesn't make sense. And it's not their fault. It's me, again, being so in my narrow lane that I just haven't tried to actually like network and build up relationships with these people that I just know them at a bit of a distance, to actually do cool collabs. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. So last year, as I began to sort of try and change my mindset on this stuff, ChipFat was tweeting saying, does any content creator fancy coming to join us for Sidemen Among Us? And I said, absolutely. And unfortunately, I just couldn't do it at the time. And so the spot got filled and I didn't end up playing. But like, that's the sort of thing where I've got this year, I've got to force myself to be like, put me in, coach. Like, let's make it happen. And it's tough, man. Like, there's a weird thing, even after all these years, right? Like, I've been building and building and building my brand. I've been finding my own success. I've been literally doing it totally alone, right? In terms of like no collabs, just grow strictly from your own thing, Milo. I've done so much of that. And granted, there's been some collabs here and there, but like the majority of my growth is all from just being me. And it's good, but even then, there's still a part of me in my brain that's like, what if they think you're just sort of like trying to leech? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that for a small creator, that must be a real nightmare, because I'm a big creator and I still feel that way, which is nuts. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and push myself out there a little bit with folks like that. Another example that chat brought up that I thought was a really cool idea is people that do IRL challengey kind of content and IRL streams, things like that. An example of a channel would be Jetlag the Game. They make really, really cool like challenge videos in different countries around the world. It looks awesome. I really love the type of content that they make. That's the sort of group that like this year would be perfect for all the other stuff that I've got planned. Like, doing some collabs with those sorts of people would be amazing. Another one my chat suggested was Sam and Colby, who I thought were just too big. Like, I looked at their channel, I was like, these guys are out of my league. Despite the fact, again, that like, I don't know why I have this mindset, but I just do. I've been so tunnel visioned on just building my audience and my channel over the years that I'm just like, oh, they're doing their thing. Okay, I'll just leave them alone, right? But I was like, yeah, there's just no way I'd even be able to get in touch with them. But according to my Twitch chat, they do collab with people quite often. So I guess there's a chance, and ultimately this is like a bit of a wish list, right? So it's not deep if it doesn't happen. But like, channels like that, at least, the sorts of things that I should be really trying to push myself out there with and just sort of be, I don't know, more personable or more bold, I guess, and just being like, hey, let's do a thing. I don't know you, but let's do a thing. Like, I need to build that muscle. So like, that would be really cool. Another couple of guys that are actually in Call of Duty, so I'm sort of breaking my rule a little bit here, but they also sort of dabble elsewhere. Tim the Tatman, Jev, both of them I feel like would really enjoy doing the zombies Easter eggs at some point, like running through either the Black Ops 6 eggs or actually going back to some of the older eggs and doing those as well. And if the opportunity ever came up to do something like that, I'd love it. I'd jump at that in a heartbeat. I've seen that both of them have been playing a bit of Black Ops 6, so I know there's a little bit of interest there. So yeah, maybe we can make that happen one day. But again, like, I never want to impose. Like, I feel like maybe it's the Britishness in me. Maybe that's what's the problem here, because like, I'm saying these names and then I'm almost like wanting to just rub it out and cut that part of the video, because I'm like, this is weird now, because like I'm saying like this would be a cool thing to do, but then I need to caveat it with like, but like, it's not a big deal if they don't want to do it. Like that's fine. And then I'm also thinking like, oh, and also like, am I now putting weird pressure on them? Because I do not want at all for people to like go and hound them to play with me just because I thought it would be a cool idea. Like, that's not what I want here at all, not in the slightest. So I'm stressing, man. Oh, okay, breathe, Milo. It's gonna be okay. Please do not hassle any of these people. Please, 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 please. It will be so embarrassing. Please don't do that. And then there's also channels that do like really specific sort of challenge type content, and chat suggested full squad gaming. And I didn't realize that Avalanche is like running this channel. He's like one of the main people on this channel, which I'm really happy to see, because Avalanche has been in the game for so long, and it's really cool to see a channel really singing and working for him. And so like a channel like that would be perfect. That would be so good to jump in, help those guys out with a video, have them come on a video of mine, like figure something out at some point. Would love to do it. So that's sort of like just a random assorted list of people that aren't even necessarily the specific individuals that I would love to collab with, but it's just more like, this is some of the spreading of my wings that I want to try and do. It's very scary for me. So number 13 is cooking. I know this sounds a little weird. Basically, I've just done some baking streams over the last couple of years, and every time it's just a good vibe. And so I want to do more good vibe streams. So this isn't necessarily specific to cooking itself, but it's just like the idea and the intention that I want to try and be live more this year. But I know the type of person I am that if I do what Pizza does, for example, and stream zombies like nearly every day, I will go insane. I will quit. I would get through about a month or maybe 2 months of that, and then I would genuinely have to hang up my cap and never touch video games ever again. I just can't do it. My brain is too scatterbrained. I need to jump between things too much, and video games, if I play them and them alone only too many times in a row on stream, I just can't do it. So that's where mixing it up comes in, where I can jump in with a new Zombies map release and I can hit that really hard with full focus and clarity and love every second of it. And then after a couple of weeks, I can be like, okay, now it's time for me to touch grass, right? And the touching grass is cooking streams, and it's these other opportunities to just sort of hang out with chat. I was singing Christmas songs with chat over Christmas. It was lovely. Like, I had a wonderful time doing that. And so I want to try and do sort of more of those sorts of things, and I'd love your suggestions also if there's any sort of specific random other streams that you guys would like to see from me. Then in an area that is really scary for me, I'd actually quite like to write and release a song. Now I know that sounds nuts, and I know it's also kind of a cliche, like, oh, YouTubers, they like get to a point in their career where they just like release like a drum and bass track and they think they're sick. I don't want that to be me, okay? I just have for a long time dabbled with the guitar, which is over there somewhere. And like, I'm a very musical person, but you guys don't see any of that. You literally see none of it whatsoever unless I do a Christmas singing stream, right? And so I kind of want to change that this year. And as I'm trying to do a lot of this other stuff where you can see a bit more of Milo and who I am and what I do outside of zombies, as well as all the zombie stuff continuing, I feel like that would be a really fun thing to do. We could do it as a challenge sometime where, I don't know, I write a song with chat or something. Or it could just be that it's like a background project that I do over a weekend at some point, and I'm like, what do you guys think? Woo. just to challenge myself creatively. Because again, I'm someone that cannot just sit in one place and do the same thing over and over again forever. I can't do it. I need to be constantly creatively challenging myself and trying new things and failing at things as well. I really need that. And this is something that I think would be really good stimulus in that area. Number 15, I want my first voice acting credit this year. I know that sounds bold, but it's a vision that I've had for a long time. I think it would make so much sense to cast me in a video game where there is a nerdy conspiracy theorist type character, and I can be there and I can just disappear into the role of the conspiracy theorist. And I can just be like talking about finding Bigfoot or something. I think it's a no-brainer. And Like, I've worked on games, like I've been credited on games already in my career from a consulting perspective. Like, I actually did that just as recently as last year. And that's really cool, like from a consulting angle and from being able to share my insights and expertise about game design. I love it. I love doing that whenever the opportunity presents itself and whenever a developer is like, Milo, we recognize you know what you're talking about here. Let's chat, right? Like, it makes me so happy. But this year, I just want to take that to the next level, and I want to be part of the creative process as much as I'm part of the analytical design process, and specifically the creative process in the booth doing some voice acting. I want it to happen so bad. So I'm just manifesting this. I'm putting this out into the universe. Maybe we can make that happen somewhere. Make me an NPC. Give me literally 3 lines. I don't care, but let's do it. Oh, and also I forgot to say, for 14, my chat suggested that I write a multiphasic injector rap. So maybe that can be one of the forfeits for the Subathon potentially, where that's something I have to put together. And we can have like ad-libs from, I don't know, the mangler in the background. So, I mean, God, it would be so corny. Thinking about it, it would be so bad. Like rhyming, hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here, something, enemy near. Oh God, it would be awful. And then number 16, I want to expand the No Nonsense clothing line because I love the t-shirt and the hoodie that we've got right now. Like, absolutely adore those, but there's a few really obvious additions that would just make sense to add to milomerch.com. One of them would be a dad hat, just like a plain black probably, or maybe like one of the ones that's sort of slightly distressed black, like a grayish kind of black. Don't know what you call that, but with No Nonsense embroidered on the front in white. That seems so obvious to me. I can't believe I haven't done it yet. So we'll probably try and cook up that sort of design with some designers, make sure that it's perfect, and then get it on the store at some point. And then I'm also thinking it might be cool to do No Nonsense joggers because we've got the hoodie. So then we can make it like the full sort of set, so to speak. That's one that I'm a little bit less sure of, but a lot of people have requested that, so we might be able to cook that up at some point. And I'd also love your suggestions if there's sort of a specific thing that you think would be really great to do. Like, I kind of feel like doing some sort of more memey zombies related merch as well for just like one-off drops where there's only 100 of them and you just have to buy them there and then, or if you don't, then you miss it and it's gone. But again, that's something we'll figure out like later in the year probably. But certainly the No Nonsense merch on milomerch.com. Loads of you guys got it for Christmas, which made me so happy. And seeing the messages about that was just like, yeah, it was so cool. And so I want to expand on that a little bit in this coming year as well. And number 17 is I want to be more open to the idea of new things this year. And that's very much a mindset thing. But basically, I have this habit of really looking at a given video idea, a given stream idea, a given game to play or whatever, and breaking it down based on like, okay, how much time is this gonna take? And is this gonna lead to like specific YouTube videos that are gonna get certain numbers of views? And if I do that, is that gonna earn back enough money to pay for the team that I have in place helping support me in making that content in the first place? Like, does that balance the balance sheet type situation? Like, am I still gonna be able to pay Joey Conway? Like, I worry about those things, right? Because I've built a machine around me over the years, which is wonderful. It's amazing to have it, but it also is a really big responsibility because I can't just do whatever I want and ignore people like Joey Conway's needs. Like, I need to make sure that Joey Conway has job security. This is what being a good boss is. So, or at least trying to be a good boss. So in that regard, over the years, I've really tuned my thinking to be in a place where if something doesn't immediately move the needle towards either being something that I absolutely adore or something that is going to be beneficial for the channel in some way, it's harder for me to justify like saying yes to it because I'm just in my zone, just making my content, right? And so this year, I just want to be a little bit more open to if you guys are like, oh, Milo, you should really collab with this one person. I want to sort of be like, okay, how could we actually make that happen? Like maybe at first I'll be like, oh no, they're too big. Like if someone, for example, just the sort of like goofy example, right? Someone comes into my Twitch chat and they're like, Milo, you should collab with MrBeast, right? I know you have your opinions about MrBeast, whatever. I'm just using him as an example here, okay? Because MrBeast is the biggest content creator on the planet. Like nobody doubts that. That is the case. He's enormous, right? And so hearing that sort of thing, I would automatically start finding reasons why it couldn't work. Right? I'd be in like a scarcity mindset. I'd be like, nope, he's too big, he's too busy, there's no way it would work, it would be too difficult, it would be too awkward, this wouldn't work, people wouldn't like that. Like I would just start shooting it down and finding reasons that it couldn't happen. But realistically, I need to be more open and have more of an abundance mindset to say, okay, well, like, I might think it's unlikely, but why should I be the one to shoot it down? Why can't I let the universe be the one that shoots it down if it's not going to happen, right? So instead thinking, okay, that's like a lofty goal, but what could I actually realistically do to make it happen? To at least just like try. And so obviously not with Mr. Beast. I think Mr. Beast realistically is not going to happen. But like with some of the people on this list, for example, it's like, okay, maybe they're doing their own thing. Maybe they don't usually collab with people. Maybe it wouldn't be a good fit. Normally, blah, blah, blah. All these reasons why it couldn't work in my head. I just need to be like, hold on, maybe it can if I'm just open to the idea that it could, right? So that's something that I'm going to really try and work on this year. And that's going to take some help from you guys as well, to keep giving me suggestions about stuff and keep pushing me in a direction that you think would be cool to consume on your end, right? Because ultimately, if you guys hated all this content, what am I doing it for? That'd be a bit silly, wouldn't it? So there's a lot of ideas here. There's a lot of stuff that I really want to do, but I also really, really, really want your suggestions based on my intention for openness here. So please, if there's any kind of extra detail that you could give me for any of these specific things, if there's any other creators that are killing it with a certain content format that you want me to replicate, that you want me to sort of jump in and add my spin to or whatever, please let me know. That would be really helpful. And then just, yeah, any encouragement on all of the above would also be really appreciated as well, because I'm scared, man. It's a little scary sort of putting myself out there like this, because like I said, I've grown so much within my own lane, and a goal for me this year is to push outside my lane just a little bit while still maintaining all the zombies content that you know and love. And it's gonna be a journey. So I really hope you guys come along with me on that ride. And at the end of the year, we can do a little wrap-up video and see if I've failed everything on here. How does that sound? I'm really praying that at least some of these things come true, because otherwise that's gonna be really embarrassing in a year's time. But yeah, I'm trying to sort of put myself out there. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.